Hey, thanks for stopping by Mystic Messages. If you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. I hope everyone is doing amazing today. I want to thank everyone for their comments and likes. I appreciate that. It helps the algorithm. I apologize if anybody's having any type of interference with leaving a comment, but there is something that is beyond my control right now that's going on that hopefully will be resolved soon. Please remember these messages are timeless and will be received in divine timing for those who need to hear them. Today's message is from the ethereal realms. And the ethereal realms want you to know you have a purpose. You have a purpose, and it's never too late to fulfill that purpose, regardless of your age, regardless of what you went through, regardless of your financial status. It doesn't matter. We each have a purpose and a calling in life, but no one knows what that purpose is other than ourselves. Deep within ourselves, the purpose, that nudge that you are feeling to move forward with something. Okay? And it doesn't always have to be something so crazy like, going onto a YouTube channel or whatnot. We can utilize our purpose in the everyday world with each other, spreading love, spreading happiness, helping those who need help, helping animals, helping the planet. We all have a particular purpose and we all have a calling. I was confused myself when I first had a calling many, many years ago. I was in second grade, this is in the 1970s, and I went to Catholic school for 13 years. And back then, I thought that I was getting a calling to be a priest. I don't know where that came from, and I didn't understand it. But I understand now where that calling has led me to, which is right here where I am today. Okay? And that calling is to go out there and to do my best to do what God is asking me to do, to promote love, to show people that they're not alone, to show people that regardless of their situation, they still have value. And each and every one that I'm speaking to has value. You have a purpose, and you can do that purpose. I know it's difficult when things happen in your life, when, people shit all over you and you see the nonsense that's going on in the world. That's all stuff that we don't have to stay focused on. If we remain focused on our own positivity and spreading that person by person, piece by piece, we will be doing something to help the planetary vibration rise. Okay? And that, in whatever fashion that happens to be for you. Okay? Some of you may be having a calling to go work with animals, volunteer at an animal shelter. There are so many beautiful creatures out there, loving creatures, that need the help of humans who love them and won't exploit them. It's very important to spread that love. Unfortunately, the condition of the world that we're in right now is due to a lack of love and the feelings of self importance that most people have. Okay? But you have a purpose, and it doesn't matter how old you are. And, you can find the strength within yourself, and I know it's hard. I know it's hard. It was very difficult for me to follow my purpose. When I started this channel, I was being called to do so. I wasn't keen on the idea. I wasn't crazy about it because this is not something that I wanted to do. But I realized, since I was pushed to do this, forced out of my comfort zone, it's becoming easier for me to do. And it actually taught me something about myself. It taught me that I'm able to do something, in this world to make a difference for everyone, which is what my true desire is. I want to bring peace and unity to this world. And if that has to happen at a slow pace, as the way this is going right now, that's fine. Because I was also told that this channel will grow in divine timing when it needs to happen, you know? And part of my thing was having to learn patience, not understanding why can't I have what everyone else was having. But I've learned to understand that I didn't have the easy road because all the experiences in my life, and there were many, and I don't have to mention them right now, brought me to where I am today. I'm at a point where I, unfortunately have to let go of a lot of people in my life, and I did, because they're just lower vibration entities that have overtaken them, using them like a vessel to attack my spirituality, to attack my confidence. But what goes to show here is that there is something behind me that's giving me the confidence to do this, and it's not coming from me. And I know it's from a higher power, and it's from me following what I've been asked to do because it showed me that I am capable of doing it. Okay, even though I never felt myself to be capable of being a public speaker, which I'm not, I'm still not the greatest at it. But I was told I don't have to be perfect, and neither do you. Okay, it's not about perfection, it's about your sole purpose, your desire. And you are going to find that. You just have to believe in yourself and take that first step. Don't be afraid to speak up in the face of injustice, okay? Even when it's not popular, you know? You'll get the strength that you need to do it. Believe me. When you count on a higher power for yourself, you will gather the strength that you didn't even know that you had. And like I said, it doesn't matter how old you are. You could be older, you could be younger. I'm 54 years old, and here I am doing it. Starting all over again, starting from scratch. Certain situations in my life led me to this point. My dark night of the soul led me to where I am today. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful for having survived that. I'm grateful for the protection that I received by the divine realms for doing it. So you have the same thing, and you can do this. I want to encourage each and every one of you out there that's listening to me. Take that first step. Don't be scared to put yourself out there. People are going to laugh at you, call you crazy. That's cool. Don't worry about it. It doesn't matter. Just remind yourself of, other, great people in the world that people laughed and mocked at. And who got the last laugh? The world, unfortunately, is designed to want to take away people who have goodness in them. They want to take away that goodness. They want you to be as miserable as they are because misery loves company. But you have the power to change that within yourself. And if that means having to let go of certain people in your life, as difficult as it may be, and it's hard, it's really hard to do that because it takes you out of your comfort zone. It makes you feel alone. But know that you're not alone. You have an entire family, a spiritual family that's out there that's waiting to meet you. And all you have to do is put yourself out there. Okay? Be present. You know, follow the nudge that you're feeling deep within inside. And whatever you're thinking of right now is what your purpose is. Okay? Whatever vision is coming to your head right now, that is your purpose. And you know it. You just have to take the first step. Get out of the comfort zone and know that you have support of an entire family that you weren't even aware of. And let the rest of the world go. Many years ago, going back, aside from my calling when I was about 5, I had a visitation from Mother Mary, the Virgin Mary. And I didn't quite understand what this was about because I was a kid. And the dream, it was in a dream state, okay? I've been visited by three, three spiritual beings in my life, 3 separate occasions, okay? This one happened to be my first experience with a divine being in a dream state, was the Virgin Mary. And in the dream, I was walking down a set of steps in a house that my aunt was currently living in. And what do I see on the bottom level of the steps is the Virgin Mary standing there in a corner. And she opened up her, what they call a mantle, her gown. And she took something sharp out. I don't know what it was. I perceived it to be a pin or a needle. That was my perception of it. And she poked me in the stomach with it. And I was in such shock. And I said to her, Mary, why did you do that to me? There was no answer. And right after that, the experience was over and I woke up. I now understand what she was telling me at that young age. She was telling me that I was chosen to do a specific task, okay? And I fought that my entire life. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it because, I thought that, oh, it sounds crazy. It's this, it's that. I've had psychic abilities my entire life that were frowned upon in my family. You didn't speak of those things. I was told ghosts don't exist. I've been visited by many ghosts my entire childhood. And I was fearful as a kid. I was very fearful of the things that went on in the dark because I didn't understand them. Today, I now understand them at this age. It took me this long to get it, but I finally got it. you know. And this might sound crazy to some people, and that's cool. It doesn't bother me, but that's my truth. And this is what I want everyone who's listening to me to feel within themselves. Feel brave enough to share your truth, regardless of what others might think, because you never know who it's going to help. And hopefully, the small story that I just, uh, told, to this collective will help somebody, help you to understand that it's not too late for you, and you can do what you're being called to do. You just have to take the first step. Forget about all the things that happened in the past. We all have a horrible past. Just let them go. Release it with love and look at it and say, what did I learn from these past situations? What did I learn from the people that harmed me? And when you can learn to look at it from that perspective, it helps you to make peace with it and move forward, because you're not always going to get closure in any type of a situation. Sometimes you have to create that closure for yourself in order for you to gain the strength to move on and to fulfill the purpose that the divine realms are placing inside each and every one of you, regardless of what it is. And there's nothing that's too small. You have a purpose and you can follow it. Be brave enough to do it. I give you the love and the strength from myself that I could possibly give. And I want to encourage you to go out there and make your mark. And don't give a shit about what people have to say about it. Because it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, what's important is how you feel about yourself. That's the most important thing. And as long as you know you're doing something from the goodness of your heart, there's nothing wrong in doing it. Okay? I'm going to leave it at that. I want to wish everyone a great night, and I want to thank you again for being here. I appreciate all the new followers and the likes and the comments, that I'm starting to see. And when I do, get a comment, I will respond. A lot of times, I'm not able to see the comments for whatever reason, but eventually that problem will be solved. I'm hopeful and I remain positive, and I know that this community will grow in its own time. And I would like for this community to become a family for each other, be a support system for each other, because you can share your stories. This is a safe space for you to be able to share your stories, share your experiences, because others need to know. And you never know who your story might help. Okay? All right, so let's leave it at that, and we'll talk to you again soon. Take care.